Blood City Studio in Supernatural, British Columbia. This is Inside Comics with George McHale. I'm Sean. I'm not Sean. All right, let's go again. All right. What's up, everybody? From Blood City Studio in Supernatural, British Columbia, this is Inside Comics with George McHale. I'm George, that's Sean, and this is the first episode. So thanks so much for joining us. Please hit that subscribe button. We're a brand new show, and it'll help us grow exponentially. I'm joined today by my main man, Sean Forney. Dude, thanks so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Sean and I work together on a comic book called Omegamorphosis Heroes. It's a fun sci-fi action-adventure comic. It's free to read on Webtoons, and Sean is just killing it on the colors on that book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You've done line art and colors for Counterpoint Comics' Hardly Thin, Dynamite for their Vampirilla Red Sonja cover, and of course for your own series, Scarlet, Huntress. I never told you this before, but I actually met you in 2018 for the first time, and you had this awesome Thor versus Hulk piece in the San Diego Comic-Con souvenir book, and I thought that was really fantastic.
Thank you.
Stopped by your table and chatted you up there before we started working together.
Yeah. It like I say, I maybe can't remember the specific instance of us getting to chat there, but you know, it's always fun to participate that, and it's a great way. Like, you know, that's how we met, and that's how I get to talk and interact with a number of great folks at that show.
So you do a ton of work as a colorist in comic books, and it seems like you're always on one project or another. And I wanted to talk to you about what tools do you use for coloring?
Primarily, I stick with Photoshop. I started working professionally as a colorist probably about 2012, somewhere in that ballpark. I've been doing other illustration work prior to that, but you know, I started doing the coloring stuff around that time frame.
Do you remember what your first gig was?
It was a layout done by Tim Seeley. My buddy Josh Metters did finishes on it, and I colored it. And so it was like my first published piece that went out there was actually in a DC related title.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've kind of played around with coloring a bit over the last few years, and I'm really kind of learning how to do it. I work on Procreate, and at first I was really taking like a lot of like, for example, if I was trying to do like a skin color, and I would do like different shades of the color and then kind of blend them into each other to get shadows and things like that. But then I started doing like a black, and then like changing the opacity and then kind of blending that in. And I'm just wondering if you can talk about the differences of like of approaches for coloring and what you personally use.
So you brought up a really good point there with like you were saying, using black as like your shade, your shadows. So that was and I'm not knocking anybody, not trying to cause anybody trouble, but that was like one of the biggest things I learned from all the painting classes I took in college is stay away from black. Don't use straight black or straight white. You don't want to go to one extreme or the other. You always want to have a mix of color going on. You want to play up stuff like complementary colors to get your like darkest darks and kind of the same avenue as doing your brightest brights. Obviously there are some instances to go to a straight black or a straight white. But that was one of the key factors I learned early on when it comes to like color, trying to keep your stuff from being what they refer to as muddy, is trying to stay out of that range of going to like one extreme or the other. So when I'm coloring a comic book and I'm doing it digitally, like I said, I use Photoshop. I use like a couple of different techniques. Primarily when I'm doing interiors on a book, I'm doing kind of a combination of what a lot of folks refer to as a cut and grad style, meaning I'll cut out shapes and lay down gradients, sometimes airbrushing to get different values to go from light to dark to get that gradation.
So do you have like any tutorials that you've watched or books that you reference on color theory, and can you speak to that a bit?
As far as color theory goes, most all of that came from a few of my instructors in college. But honestly, I mean, if you want to like really pick up some stuff on color and painting and different techniques, go with a classic and find Bob Ross on YouTube or Twitch. And you know, I think even Netflix still has the entire series. I mean, you know, people might want to laugh it off as being, oh, well, it's just this guy, you know, sitting there painting and being goofy. There's a lot of invaluable knowledge in there. And that's, again, it's kind of the same thing I picked up through all the classes in college.
Bob Ross, man, I remember watching him when I was a kid. You have a YouTube channel yourself.
Yes.
What's it
Yes.
called?
So I guess the best way to find me is search like Sean Forney art. And or search Friday Night Draw, which is the live stream that a buddy and I do on Friday nights. One of those should get you to my channel, or visit the rest of my social media, which you can find through Sean Forney Art. And I put up a link tree that's got a link to my YouTube channel in there.
And what kind of things do you cover on your channel?
Mostly it's live stream stuff that during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, I go on and I do a morning warm-up sketch. I usually will just either do something random that I want to do for the morning to kind of get the juices flowing, get you know, all the muscles moving around and whatnot. Or like, for example, the month of October, we called it Cryptober. So I spent all of those times doing sketches of various cryptids. I usually spend about a half hour on the morning streams. And then Friday nights, Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, my buddy Rodney Fike and I, we do what we call Friday Night Draw. We kind of play on the whole wrestling vibe. And we do a quick little sketch off battle for 30 minutes. It's timed. Both of our wives sit there and time us. And we usually will take in audience input ahead of time and decide, okay, this night we're doing this character versus this character. We each do a little sketch for 30 minutes. We offer them for sale, things like that. And then once that's done, we head over and we might work on commissions.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've watched the show, and it looks like you guys have a lot of fun over there.
Thank you. Yeah, we do. We really enjoy it.
So one of my like favorite questions to ask artists is, what is one of the strangest commission requests you've got at a show?
I've got a couple that I probably shouldn't mention on here. Let's see. I know I've got some funny ones over the year where it's like, you know, putting a character in like an odd position of like, a buddy and I have both ended up doing the sketch over the years. It's like, can you draw me drunk Iron Man puking? Just goofball stuff like that. And I like I said, I get the occasional rare ones that probably should not bear repeating. That you know, those usually got to be like, it's not my wheelhouse. I got, you know, kind of shy away from that. And I'll admit, there's some rare ones that I've gotten to where it's like, all right, yeah, I don't mind drawing that one.
Yeah, I'm always surprised at what people will request.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Since it is like you know, October now, do you have like a favorite scary movie?
I'm big on Monster Squad. I think I've watched it twice so far.
That's like my favorite. That's crazy. I talk about Monster Squad all the time.
I do too. It's my like go-to, and it got to be honest, it's a huge inspiration, and like as I've kind of discovered, it's a huge inspiration. Like, you know, half of what I do.
I watched that movie when I was like 5 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
It scared the pants off of me. I was just like freaked right out, but it made such an impression.
Yep.
And I actually have a book called Cover Darkness that I co-write with Chris Cam, and the artist on it is MJ Hiblin. And when I pitch it, I say it's kind of like Monster Squad meets Game of Thrones.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So you got like kind of the all the classic horror monsters in like a fantasy universe, and yeah, we're actually working on issue 9 of that right now. And you have a series that deals with monsters as well.
Yes.
It's called Scarlet Huntress. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Scarlet Huntress is a descendant of Little Red Riding Hood, set in modern times. She hunts werewolves, and as we've progressed the series, we've decided she hunts a few other things. So we've kind of worked in a bunch of different cryptid stuff. Like I said, Monster Squad has definitely been a huge impact and like kind of influencing me over the years as we've built kind of the mythos around like the classic story of Little Red Riding Hood. We've even done our own like kind of retelling of that initial Little Red Riding Hood story. And it's basically kind of a revenge story. And Scarlet's trying to figure out what happened, why was her mother killed, and trying to figure out who killed her, what was the cause of it, whatever. And then she comes to find out from her grandmother. Again, drawing off Little Red Riding Hood, grandma's the one there to keep her safe and protected. That there's this whole supernatural world she's never known about, and she dives in, starts hunting down these werewolves, trying to find answers. And
You draw a mean werewolf, dude.
thank you.
Yeah, that's so good.
I've worked at it since the get go of doing this.
So your wife writes the book.
Yes, she's written like 99.9% of it. We've had 2 people so far guest write, and we're gonna have a couple more doing some stories on the new book.
And what's it like working with your wife?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, with anything, as being a couple and whatnot, you always, kind of, butt heads about something somewhere down the line. And we do at times, but it's one of those things where it's that creative process that you would do no matter who you're working with creatively.
And so you guys have a current Kickstarter on right now.
Yes. Yes.
What is it called?
It's Scarlet's Field Guide to Cryptids and Other Creatures. And we have 14 days left on it as of today. And it is basically Scarlet's journal. So everything is in story. So you're seeing it all from Scarlet's point of view. It's her journal of all the various other cryptids, creatures, urban legends, myths, what have you, that she's come across in her travels to hunt down these werewolves and find out what's going on. Where does all this stuff lead to? And this book has journal entries for 30 different creatures or beings. And then not counting myself and my wife, there are 14 other creators that are working on it, providing artwork. There's 2 of those will be writing stories. But it's all a bunch of our, group of friends that are basically family at this point that decided they were going to contribute. And so we were shooting for 64 pages. I think we're well beyond that now with the amount of artwork that everybody has given us.
So this is going to be a big book.
Yes.
Lots and lots of monsters.
Yes. So we're trying to make this the biggest, best thing we can. Just to have all the stories out there and stuff, because it's not something I think that we could always sit there and do, a full comic book or even a short little story. There's only so much time to fit in some of this stuff. And it's like, these are the stories you want to tell. This is how we can make them available to everybody.
Right. And so if someone wants to get like your other Scarlet Huntress books, can you get them on this Kickstarter?
Yes, you can. We have a package that has the newest book and then the 4 previous issues. And now we are lucky enough to be in the beta test for Kickstarter's add-ons. So you can actually pick up other materials from previous Kickstarters and previous San Diego Comic-Cons, for example, of exclusives, other books, prints, stickers, all this other stuff. When you pick your pledge reward, it comes up with a list, and we've created a list of all these other different things you can add on, even adding like remark sketches to your book. We now have that capability to do direct through Kickstarter, no added having to go to like another place or do anything else. It's all done right there when you make your pledge.
Cool. So it's Scarlet's Field Guide to Cryptoids.
Scarlet's Field Guide to Cryptids and Other Creatures.
Okay. Yeah, I backed the project.
Thank you.
It looks awesome. I'm excited for it. I love monsters. I'm like super psyched that you've got like a thing for Monster Squad too. So if people want to find you on Instagram, it's at Sean Forney Art,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And if they want to, the easiest way I find to like look up a Kickstarter is just type in the person's name, Sean
Yes.
Forney,
Yes.
and it'll pop right up there. It's a great project. You've got your YouTube channel, and I hope people like will search you out too. You're one of my favorite collaborators. I think we're making a really fun book, and your colors on a Megamorphosis Heroes is really, brings a lot of energy to that project. And I just want to thank you for being on the show today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, and thanks for allowing me to get the word out on all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's a quality book, quality project. I've read the past Scarlet Huntress books, and I'm a fan of yours. And I want to continue working with you. And thanks so much for being on Inside Comics with George McHale.
Thank you.
All right, bye everybody. Peace.